Most creators talk about burnout, some joke about not sleeping. But a famous Korean YouTuber, one of the first creators to ever blow up on the platform, said something differently. He didn't say he was tired. He said he couldn't sleep, not even when he tried. And in the final week of his life, he started seeing things, shapes, shadows, figures standing over him, hallucinations, products of a collapsing mind. At least that's what the doctor would say. But the way he described them, the way his viewers saw him reacting on camera, the way he wrote in his private notes, well, those details were never released to the public. Until now. His name was Na Dong-hyun, known online as Buzzbean11, Daidosagwan, a pioneer, a gaming legend, a creator who practically built the Korean YouTube scene from the ground up. Millions trusted his laugh, his honesty, his familiar presence on screen. But in the weeks before his death, people noticed something different in his eyes. Not sadness, not stress, fear. The kind of fear people don't talk about because it doesn't make sense. Because it sounds insane, because saying it aloud makes it feel real, and Dong-hyun was trying desperately not to make it real. According to close friends, it began like this. He was preparing for events, filming, editing a typical creator grind. He'd sleep 3 hours one night, 2 hours the next, sometimes none at all. But then his brain reached that point where it refuses to power down. Not because you don't want to sleep, but because every time you drift off, you see something waiting. Dong-hyun wrote in one of his unsent notes, "I'm hearing things at night. I know it's the fatigue, but when I close my eyes, something stands by my door. A hallucination. Should have been harmless. But sleep deprivation has stages, and what he described belonged to the later ones, the dangerous ones, the ones where the mind begins creating intruders." On September 4th, Dong-hyun started a late-night gaming stream. Fans noticed instantly. His face was pale, his hands trembled, his eyes darted constantly to the side as if something was moving behind the camera. Halfway through, he said it. "I haven't been sleeping much. Maybe 3 hours in a few days." His voice was light, joking, but his eyes weren't. At one moment, caught by several viewers, he froze completely. He stared past the monitor, past the doorway, into something no one else could see. Chat exploded. "Turn around! Bro, what was that? Are you okay?" He didn't move, not for 12 seconds. Then he blinked hard, forced a smile, and continued like nothing happened. But after the stream, he wrote another note. The shadow was in the doorway again. First time I saw it awake. Most people think hallucinations are silly little visions. They're not. Sleep-deprived hallucinations are more like intruders in your perception, detailed, intelligent, persistent. Dong-hyun's notes, never published publicly, describe this. Every time I blink, it gets closer. It's not a person. Its arms touch the floor. If I fall asleep, it runs at me. He wrote "runs" underlined 3 times. This is medically accurate. Severe insomnia often triggers figure-running hallucinations, where the brain interprets the sensation of falling asleep as something rushing you. But Dong-hyun described it vividly. "I hear footsteps on the floorboards. It sprints. I nearly screamed when I felt its breath on my face." He still believed it was his mind playing tricks on him, but the fear was real. A friend later revealed that he messaged them at 3:17 a.m. on September 5th. "I can't keep my eyes open. When I do, I see something in the corner. A few minutes later, it knows when I'm awake." And the final message, I'm scared to sleep, scared to dream, scared to close my eyes. It moves when I blink. Imagine being so sleep-deprived, you're terrified of blinking. He was fighting sleep like his life depended on it, because in his mind it did. In the last hours of his life, Dong-hyun recorded an unsaved video file. Investigators recovered only fragments. He looks exhausted, eyes swollen, voice cracking. He says, "I know it's not real, but it feels real. Last night I closed my eyes for maybe 20 seconds, and I swear I saw it run at me." He looks off screen suddenly, jerks his head to the door, whispers, "It's back." He stands up abruptly, knocking over a cup. The video ends, and that is the last digital trace of him alive. On September 6th, Dong-hyun didn't show up for an important appointment. He never missed things like that. Police were called for a welfare check. When they entered his apartment, they found him unresponsive. There was no break-in, no struggle, no injuries, no suspicious substances. His computer was still on. The room was silent, peaceful, too peaceful. Doctors later confirmed he suffered a cerebral hemorrhage, a sudden brain bleed likely triggered by a mix of blood pressure and extreme exhaustion. His mind had been fighting hallucinations, but his body couldn't fight anymore. The hallucinations weren't supernatural. They weren't demons. They weren't ghosts. They were his brain collapsing in real time, a body begging for sleep, a mind so deprived it began creating a predator. But the terror he felt, that was real. Sleep deprivation hallucinations can feel tactile, audible, visible, threatening, intelligent. They stalk you, they chase you, they stand in your doorway, they breathe on your neck. Even though they don't exist, your brain makes them feel alive. And for Dong-hyun, alone in his dim apartment, awake for days, his hallucinations became a personal nightmare, a waking dream that ran at him every time he blinked. He wasn't haunted, he wasn't cursed, he wasn't possessed. He was exhausted, so exhausted that his mind turned shadows into monsters and silence into footsteps. He wasn't killed by a demon, but he died running from one. Not in the world, but in his own mind. And that's the true horror. Because when you go long enough without sleep, your nightmares stop waiting for you to dream. They come find you.